Good evening and welcome to the Livonia Public Schools regular board meeting of October 20th, 2025. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Yes. Mrs. Burton.
Here.
Mrs. Frank.
Here.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. McFarland.
Here.
Mrs. Acosta is here. President Bradford.
Here, and we have a quorum. All right. This evening we have a group of students representing both all of Churchill, Franklin, and Stevenson, and they're going to lead us in the pledge this evening. And if you just want to stand where you're at and you can start us off, that would be wonderful.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. All right. We are going to, I've got some business. If you'd like to follow along with tonight's meeting and you're joining us in person, you can go out the doors there, and to the left you'll find a copy of tonight's agenda. If you are joining us from home, you can go on our LPS website at www.livoniapublicschools.org, click on the school board tab, go down to board meeting information, and under that you'll see our meeting agenda for this evening. Tonight is a regular board meeting, or a what we call voting meeting. If you tuned in to watch this meeting, you may notice that there's not a lot of discussion happening on all of the items. That's because we've seen and discussed these items several times before prior to this meeting, mainly at our study session and then again at our committee of the whole session. If you wish to hear more regarding some of these items, we ask that you go back and watch the committee of the whole meeting, and there you'll find a much richer discussion and answers to many of the questions. The committee of the whole meetings are recorded, and they can be found on our website or via YouTube. One other item I want to discuss this evening and briefly mention is one of our community with character traits called respect. Our students learn, model, and follow this trait every day at school. Our board also follows and models this important trait here at the table. We don't always agree with each other every time, and we have very differing opinions, but we treat each other with respect and for our differences and in the way that we convey them. And we ask that we want to let you know that you have our word that this board will treat everybody with respect, and we ask you to do the same for us. And with that, we're going to move on to item 3, communications. And item A, this is so awesome. We're so excited tonight. We have some special guests this evening from the high school Peer Connections program, and we're excited to hear all about these programs that they're doing. And we're going to hear from Mrs. Jenkins. Good evening, Mrs. Jenkins.
Good evening, President Bradford, members of the board, Superintendent Oquist. As you know, we are striving to highlight students and programs at each and every regular board meeting, and tonight is no exception. I'm excited to share some amazing students and staff from Churchill, Franklin, and Stevenson High Schools who have joined us this evening to talk about their peer connection programs. In Livonia Public Schools, fostering a true sense of belonging is an essential part of the climate and culture in every school across our district. We focus on ensuring that our students and our staff know, without a doubt, that they are an important part of their school community. It's who we are, and it's what we're all about here in LPS. When a high school junior or senior takes time to figuratively take a freshman student by the hand and show them that they've got this high school thing down, we want to celebrate that. As you'll hear tonight from our students and staff, these acts of kindness, mentorship, and encouragement are both intentional and impactful. We all remember our first days and weeks in 9th grade, starting out in high school, those feelings of insecurity, nervousness, and perhaps carrying around that burning question of, where do I fit in this huge school with all these kids? Having a link or a connection sure would have been helpful. I recall those days. I had my 80s tall hair. I fit in that way, but everything else was a bit of a mystery as a freshman, I must say. Tonight you'll hear about peer connections programs that are meeting that need and building strong, confident contributors to their high schools, one freshman at a time. Join me in welcoming our students and staff from our high schools, and a special thank you to Churchill Principal Kristen Casada, Franklin Principal Andrew Pacey, and Stevenson Principal Pete Mazzoni for joining us this evening. I bet this presentation will be a proud moment for them as well. We'll start off with the Churchill High School's presentation. We'll hear about their Charger Connection program, which is buzzing with meaningful activities and new friendships between the upperclassmen and freshmen. I'd like to introduce you, and as I call your name, you can join me. We'll just kind of huddle up around the podium here. Might get a little bit tight squeezed, but that's okay. So from Churchill, joining us this evening, we have Jolian Nunu and Lily Slezak, who are both now sophomores at Churchill, along with peer mentors and seniors Katie Ulmer and Sarah Suwan. In addition, we welcome Joshua Kemp Robreck, who is a junior, who would like to share information about the new Writing Center and National Honor Society peer tutoring program at Churchill. So without further ado, we're going to kind of toggle between some slides that the students have prepared. So you'll see the slides and along with the live shots toggling back and forth on the screen. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to our Churchill Chargers. Just kind of say your name at the beginning. So.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Sawan, and I just wanted to start out by explaining Charger Connect for starters. Charger Connect is a program that we started a few years ago, which its intentions were to make incoming freshmen more comfortable with getting to know more activities at the school, how the school works, where their classes might be, and different programs that they can join just so that they kind of get that kind of sense of high school life, especially on the first day because they're probably nervous. And why we do it, exactly because we know freshmen, they're scared to go there. I was scared to go there. I didn't know what I was gonna expect, but Charger Connect was the first year I personally was at Churchill. That was the first year it started. And I'm super grateful that I had that experience because it definitely helped me get acclimated and to get to know a lot of upperclassmen who were able to help me and answer questions.
Hi, I'm Katie Ulmer, and I'll be explaining my experiences as a mentor. So I just wanted to start by saying I've definitely seen the program grow from being the first group in it to now being a mentor for the past 2 years and also helping out my sophomore year. I've definitely seen an improvement in the participation of the freshmen as our activities begin to acclimatize them to the school better. So our student council runs our own states each year, which allows all of our council to go, and we run our own activities, and we have guest speakers come in and run leadership activities. And with those leadership activities, we sort of modify them, and we bring them into our Charger Connect program. So on freshman orientation, we start by separating the freshmen into their different groups, and they get a tour from the seniors, and then we break off and we sort of do an activity that we did with the guest speaker that we had, and then we talk about it. So this year we did just a communication building activity, and so someone was blindfolded and they had to have their group members try and help them move through an obstacle course while the other group was trying to distract them. And it kind of taught them about communication and which communication is helpful and which communication is not. And definitely I saw freshmen very not willing to participate and not wanting to, but I found that if you kind of are outgoing to them and you show them that it's okay to be a part of it and participate and have fun, they become more that way. And the past 2 years, the people in my mentor group, I've seen them around the hallways and they say hi to me, and they've become more involved because I've shown them the opportunities that they can have at Churchill and kind of how to grow and how to have fun throughout our 4 meetings that we have each year with different activities like communication and leadership and team building.
Hello everyone, I'm Lily Slazak and I want to tell you a little bit about my experience last year as a freshman. So last year on the first day of freshman year, I didn't really know what to expect. You know, you're coming into high school, everyone's nervous, everyone's scared, and you don't know what's going to go on. So we were all randomly assigned colored groups with about 2 or 3 mentors each, and luckily I got a mentor that I knew prior from cheerleading. All the other kids were pretty much strangers to me, and they were all people that I'd never typically go out and talk to because I didn't know if we had anything in common. We played fun activities and got to know each other more. Specifically, I was able to get closer with the mentor. I knew I could build a strong relationship with them because we had something in common, and this was something that I was proud of. As luck would have it, this person ended up being Katie, and as the year went on, we got a lot closer, and that just goes to show that Charger Connect is more than just a fun activity and games that everyone gets to do on the first day of school. It really helps you connect with everyone and all your peers.
Hi, I'm Jolion. I'm also going to be talking about my experiences as a freshman in our freshman connection program. And when I came to Churchill, I knew that I wasn't the greatest kid. I wasn't like your straight A student. I didn't do all my homework. And through the Charger Connect program, it connected me with seniors who knew what they were doing and knew how high school was going to go. So they taught me what I should do in order to be a better freshman, be a better just high schooler, and a better person in general. And these seniors helped me just talk to people and become a great speaker, just a great friend in general too. And yeah, sorry.
Hi, my name's Joshua Kemp, Robert, Josh. People always ask me, oh, do you go by Joshua, Josh? I'm like, I don't know. That's what she asked me. I'm like, I don't know. You call me whatever you want. But I want to talk, when we go into high school, I wanted to talk a little bit. They talked a little bit about the social aspect of going into high school, which is arguably one of the most important things as we grow up and we become, young adults, as they call us. Personally, I don't really feel that way yet, but I'm getting there, hopefully. But I want to talk a little bit about the academic side. The academic side is, also really, really, really important. That's why we're here. This is the Board of Education, academics, they go hand in hand. So personally, why I'm here specifically, I just want to talk is because I do have a passion for education. I have a passion for tutoring because I personally have struggled. I struggled and it's been difficult for me to sort of, just keep going, turning my assignments in, and I'm still not fully there. And I'm not proud of that, but I'm proud that I can put something forward and provide a service, put tutoring out there for people. And so that's why I wanted to sort of take charge about our tutoring programs at Churchill. And so going with Mrs. Quesada, we've sort of put together these programs. Actually, she put them together at first, and I've sort of augmented them a little bit. So right now at Churchill, we currently have a math help room and a writing center. And math help room isn't exactly, that doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. You don't want to say, oh, I'm going to the math help room to get math help. Nobody wants to say that. They want to say, it's probably better to say, oh, I'm going to the math center, I'm going to the writing center. And so these are classes right now that students at Churchill can take, but they are sort of just kind of, that's just how we have them right now temporarily. That was never sort of our full intention to keep them that way. What they're going to eventually turn into once our library, as you may know, our library is being redone. And in November, on November 4th, cross our fingers, it should be beautiful. And so we are going to turn in some of our old rooms that we had that were our department rooms into one is going to be our math center, one is going to be our writing center. So when you walk right in, you're going to be on your left, you can go to the math center, and on your right, you can go to other way around. Actually, on your left is the math center, on the right is the writing center. And that's going to be where our new programs for tutoring are going to be housed, with our two, main pillars of math and writing, as well as our other pillars of English. So we're going to have honor students from the National Honor Society, and they're going to be we're going to have students. I'm putting together personally a form, or not a form, but a website. Yeah, that's the web. I'm personally putting together a website. I'm putting together a format for students to sign up and schedule sessions with NHS tutors, and they're going to be able to come to the Writing Center on Wednesdays and Mondays after November 4th to come and get tutoring in the Math Center and the Writing Center. And hopefully there will be many new implements, all these nice things that we're going to have as of the renovation, and I'm really excited, and I'm like just ooh. So, but that's just I'm really excited, and hopefully as of February, our goal is to not only have this in the Writing and Math Center, but take this to the next level and start turning this into a district-wide thing and housing it through the Livonia Public Library. So that's it.
Before we give these students a big round of applause, concluding our first segment here, Emily, can we flip back to the slides? We'll just take a second to look through the slides that the students have prepared. I didn't want to interrupt their beautiful faces on camera too much, so we'll just kind of review those now. Oh, this was the ninth grade orientation? Activities throughout the year.
Math help room. That's our flyer we've got going on. We're starting to make actually a whole bunch of new flyers lately. That's what's been occupying my schedule. I'm making like 20 new flyers.
Aha. I love that.
And equally for the Writing Center.
And how are you distributing the flyers?
Currently we have them, currently we have these actually hung up on the walls throughout the school. I'm actually taking the Writing Center as a class this year in Mrs. Gold's room at Churchill. And currently we're just trying to get the word out. The flyers, it's effective, but not everyone is going to say, oh, Writing Center, I want to go there. So it's going to, hopefully we try to spread the word out and say, oh, do you need help with your essays? And in fact, today marks our time of we had a record set this year. We had 15 people come in a span of 30 minutes because they were like, fix my essay. So.
Awesome. That is great. Quite the response. Okay, and there's a slide about the peer tutoring. And that's it. Thank you, Churchill Chargers. Grab my notes. All right, next we would like to welcome our friends from Franklin High School who will share about their Patriots Relate program. Joining us tonight, we have Franklin staff members Amy Hoke and Gwen Carey, who are Patriots Relate and freshman class advisors. Joining us, we have students Nicholas Cox, who is a junior, and we have seniors Natalie Morton, Riley Kirk, and Mac Morosky. Take it away, Patriots Relate.
Hello everyone, my name is Amy Hoke and this is my 6th year at Livonia Franklin. So I had the pleasure of taking over this program about 5 years ago during my 2nd year of teaching. Might be a lot to take on as a 2nd year teacher, but had some exciting staff members along the way with me. So we have kind of a two-pronged presentation. I'm going to talk about where we were 5 years ago, and then Gwen's going to talk about where we are now. So 5 years ago, we had 38 mentors to mentor our class of 361 freshmen. So we were about 11 freshmen per mentor, and our mentors were not in pairs. So our mentors were working 1 to 11 in our group. So we felt like that was a lot for them, as well as for us to kind of manage groups. So our orientation day is on that first day of school. We would start in the auditorium, break off into our mentor groups, and then our mentor groups would really have all the magic with doing icebreakers, leading through tours of the building, and then we'd kind of have some dead space because that morning is really a long morning after we left that auditorium. So we'd kind of do some events throughout the school year. We would do a Buffalo Wild Wings fundraiser. We would try to build some momentum with Cocoa and Cram back when final exams still existed. And then we would always text our freshmen about Spirit Week that was happening and trying to get them involved in anything to do with Franklin. But we really felt we needed some change. So we needed that smaller upperclassmen to freshman ratio. There were just a lot of freshmen in one group to try to have our mentors connect with. They really wanted that more one-to-one connection. And then we also wanted to streamline the orientation day. So we had our students sitting in the auditorium for roughly an hour, but then once we sent them off on their way, we didn't really give them too many activities that they could do other than icebreakers and tours. And we're trying to move 360 kids around the building, plus our 38 mentors. So giving some more structure to our orientation day. And we really wanted to plan some more events during the school year for our freshmen to actually attend and get them connected to the community. So we would always advertise our sporting events, our plays, musicals, but how do we get the freshmen to actually attend with a mentor? So that's where Gwen and I kind of came up with some ideas.
Thank you, Amy. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here. I'm Gwen Carey. It's my third year at Franklin High School, so I teach ELA and some electives, and I'm also freshman class advisor. So 3 years ago was my first freshman orientation with Amy, which was super great to be a part of, and I'm going to share and focus on some points of pride, just even where we've gone in these last couple years, like she said, 5 years, 3 years, in this past year in general. So she mentioned our beginning, around 30 mentors for over 300 freshmen. This past year, so just a month ago, at the end of August, when we had our freshman orientation, we had 116 mentors for over 350-ish freshmen, which was huge. Yeah, so now our mentors get to work together in pairs, which is fun, adds a whole nother element to the orientation day. And now our ratio is 2 mentors for every 5 to 6 freshmen, which is awesome. Yeah, they get more face time, more one-on-one time. It's more manageable for everybody, just a little bit more enjoyable, and a whole lot more fun. So some of the things also that we'd like to brag upon, and mainly I want to brag on the students, and they're going to get their chance to speak in a second because they're amazing and they're the creative mind behind all of this. They have all of the ideas, and they are so willing to go up above and beyond to make our, not only our orientation day, but just our year, like our freshman year for our freshmen, super engaging, meaningful, relevant, and so they are great at that. And that even just them wanting to be involved, over 100 of them wanting to be involved, I think proves some of that in itself. Our orientation day, we still start in our pack with about our hour orientation, relaying some information, and then we break off into those tours where, again, Amy mentioned our mentors take over, and they are incredible. They're in charge of picking icebreakers. They are in charge of helping all the freshmen find their classes, open their lockers, go on tours around the school. They usually do a Q&A session with our freshmen, answer their questions, address their concerns. This year we tried something new with goal setting. So all of our mentors sat down with their freshmen, and they had them fill out a goal sheet. They picked a goal for marking period 1. So that could have been something like, what do you want as far as your grades to look like for marking period 1? Do you want to meet a new friend? Do you want to join a club? And soon we're going to have them meet back with their freshmen to address that after this marking period's over and see how marking period 1 went. So we're excited about that. We also have a commitment to graduate banner that we have them sign, which I think our first one now is for the class of 26 that we'll have for them this year at graduation, which we're excited for. So continually just trying to improve orientation day and making it meaningful and engaging for everybody involved. And then one of our other points of pride and something that we're always trying to get better at is continuing the contact between mentors and freshmen throughout the school year. So we've come up with a bunch of ideas, and again, all our students, ways to get the freshmen involved. So I'll let them take over and talk about a lot of these things, but we have multiple freshman tailgates throughout the years. We do marking period check-ins. We do a freshman A pizza party, music trivia, volleyball tournament, Spirit Week reminders, all throughout the rest of our school year. Looking ahead, something we're also trying to do is always improve our training and our orientation by really heavily taking into consideration our mentor feedback. So what can we do better as far as training goes? What can we do better as far as orientation and moving forward throughout the rest of the year? So what kind of events can we keep doing for our freshman class, and how do we continue that contact? Okay? And I'll let our wonderful chairs take over and tell you about some of those things.
Okay. Hi, I'm Riley Kirk, and I'm a senior at Franklin, and this was my second year as a chair, so I was never a mentor, but I stepped up as a chair my junior year. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about freshman orientation, so the first day and leading up to the first day. So first of all, I decided to come back as a mentor because I loved being able to guide the mentors on. So before the first day of school, we have a first day mentors training. So walking them through what the first day is going to look like and what they should be doing with the freshmen, what are good things to talk about, what are good things to ask, and just to make them feel more comfortable and welcome to our school. And so I loved just being able to introduce some of those strategies on how to make them feel more welcome and more comfortable. And thank you. We walk them through icebreaker activities. We give the mentors a tour of the school and how they should introduce their classes with them, and we provide lunch with them on the training day. And then as mentors on the first day, we get up on stage, introduce ourselves in front of the freshmen, and we talk about some of the activities that'll be coming up at Franklin and how they can get more involved at the school, and just making them feel more welcome and more comfortable at Franklin. And also, fun fact, on the first day, our mentors were so prepared this year that when someone pulled the fire alarm, everybody was able to exit the building properly and come back in, and everybody was good. So, yeah, everybody was prepared and ready to go. And so, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm a senior, and I also run our social media page for Patriots Relate. So I'm going to talk about my favorite event, which I advertised like crazy on our Instagram. My favorite event to run throughout the year is our freshman tailgate, which is our first big event after orientation. So we pick a home football game that's early on in the season, and we invite all the freshmen to come out. There's food, music, a raffle, yard games. Super fun. It's just another great way to see them get involved, and we get to check in with them, see how their year is going, see if they need any help, anything like that. And it's just super fun. One of the best things about the freshman class is they're very spirited and they're excited about all things high school. So this is always a big event. We see growing numbers at this event, and it's just a super fun way to keep them involved and make sure they feel welcome.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm a junior at Franklin, and I'm a chair of Patriots Relate. And I'm going to be talking about why I decided to join and become a chair. So going into freshman year, on the first day of school, I came into school very nervous and confused and scared of what was to come. And I had the chairs and my mentors to help me and guide me through the school and teach me all the things that I needed to know and everything I was scared of and had questions of. And so seeing that, I knew that I wanted to become a part of Patriots Relate. So when I became an upperclassman, Miss Carey asked me if I wanted to become a chair, and I obviously said yes because I wanted to help all the freshmen that were scared just like me.
All right, hi, I'm Matt Komorowski. I'm going to be talking about activities we have planned throughout the school year. So one activity we have planned is we're going to do another tailgate during the basketball season. So it's gonna be indoors, of course, because we never know how the weather is outside. So we'll have like a little bowling, some volleyball, some cornhole inside. Then later in the spring, we'll do like a volleyball tournament. We'll invite all the freshmen out to come do that. We might do some like cornhole and other like spike ball and other like games. We have that. Sometimes we invite the sophomores too. So like my sophomore year, I went to it. You know, I had a lot of fun. Won the volleyball tournament, so happy about that. And like we're also like me, Miss Hoke, Miss Carey, and then all the rest of the leaders also talk about other activities we can. I have a little sister that's a freshman, so it helps out getting input from that. You know, she really likes some of her friends like going bowling, so we might do some bowling type thing all over the winter. But other than that, we're still just thinking of some ideas to do.
Okay, and we can run through the slides that the students prepared. Okay, here was the breakdown that Ms. Carey had shared with the going from 38 mentors up to 116. Yeah. Is that right? Yep. That's a lot. Look at the group photos. I love those.
The top photo is our mentors.
The mentors are in the color-coded T-shirts. Is that how? Okay, that's how they were organized. That's the best way to do it. Awesome. And I love this collage. I'll just leave this up here for a second. I love this. When you guys sent this to me, I was just smiling my head off. I loved it. Okay. All right. Excellent. Way to go, Franklin. I have to say, you make me very proud to be a Franklin alum from back in the 80s. Like I said, it would have been helpful to have y'all with me when I was starting at Franklin, but that's all right. Okay, so last but not least, we welcome our members of the Link crew from Stevenson High School to share about this awesome program and how impactful it has already been at Stevenson. Joining us, we welcome Senior Antonio Aziz, hope I pronounced that correctly, Junior Ellie Bradley, Junior Abby Oswald, and Senior Riley Stimmel, along with freshmen Raina Patel and Grace Sharp. In addition, we welcome Stevenson staff members Erica Sharp, Whitney Osborne, and Amanda Bailey. Take it away, Link crew.
Hi, I'm Whitney Osborne. Myself, Erica Sharp, Molly Dishman, and Amanda Feely are the advisors for Link Crew. And we also have Kylie Dean with us, a senior that we brought along also. So, okay. No, that's okay. She was an add-on. So
she just wanted to come.
Yeah, no problem. So I just want to talk a little bit about our program, and then we'll let our students talk. So we had 493 freshmen this year, and we have 96 Link leaders. And so in the last spring in March, we had a staff meeting. We did a PD with our staff. We kind of talked to them about what we were about and what we were looking for, and then we asked them for recommendations for students that they thought would be good leaders for us, and then they applied, and we went through the process, and so now we're navigating our first year, and things have been really great so far, so I think we'll let some of the students talk about their experiences that they've had so far. So thank you for having us.
I'm Riley. I'm a senior, and so we did this thing called May Day. So after we applied and got accepted, there was a day in May where all of us Link Crew leaders got together and we kind of did an orientation for us. So we did some icebreakers at first, and then we learned all the activities that we were going to teach the freshmen on the first day just to get them connected with each other. It really did help so that we weren't confused on the first day and didn't know what to say or what to do. And it also helped all of us Link Crew leaders bond with each other and meet our partners and get to bond with them.
Hi, my name is Abby, and I'm here to talk about our orientation. For our first day orientation, we started in our gym, our comp gym, and we had all of the freshmen together on one side in the bleachers. And then we had our Link leaders mix in with the freshmen to get them hyped for any activities that we were doing. We had started with a large group, which included a lot of communication, listening skill activities, and just a lot of bonding as a large group. And then we split off into smaller groups with 2 to 3 link leaders to about 10 to 11 freshmen. And through those small groups, we did a lot of other activities that helped connect the students, get to learn each other's names, and also help with problem solving and applying that into future years at Stevenson. As well, afterwards, we had the small groups take tours around the school, help them open lockers, help them do anything else. And then we had a little meeting in our Brisky room, our student activities room, for Senate and student council to help them just learn everything excess. And then later on in the year, we had our admin do a presentation of everything else that you would normally do at an orientation. So the orientation wasn't as long and boring as a lot of places that you would feel would be.
Hi, I'm Ellie Bradley. I'm a junior and I'm a link crew leader. Fun fact, Abby and I run the social media account. Haven't posted in a little bit. Gotta get on that. But just wanted to come on and say not only did the freshmen take away something from the link crew meeting and the freshman orientation, but us link crew leaders did too. I'm in Stevenson Global Ed, so I get a lot of practice with speeches and public speaking, and I think link crew can help with that a lot. During this October, I personally have experience with that. I led Spartan Time presentations for National Anti-Bullying Month during Spartan Times. Link crew leading, like I said, can help public speaking. It also can help boost your confidence. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone, and it can also help build connections. It gives great leadership skills. It can help you learn how to lead and navigate tough situations, because I know sometimes freshmen can think they're too cool to do these certain activities. So it kind of helps you navigate how to work with that. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm a senior. So after freshman orientation, we did this thing called, it was like our pre-HOCO dance. It was like a freshman dance. So we got all the freshmen together in the gym, and we had a DJ. One of our students was a DJ, and all the students kind of just started to understand what HOCO was. We did some line dancing with them, showed them fun things to do about it, made them a little more comfortable, because going in as a freshman, that's a very scary place to be, because you're in a group with all the seniors and stuff too. So they got to understand what it was going to be like, hear some of the music, just get to bond with each other. It was also a good way to show them it's okay to be out of your comfort zone and not have to worry about other people's opinions on it. So.
Hi, I'm Raina. I'm a freshman, and on the first day of school, I was pretty nervous because I was a freshman. But the link crew leaders, they really helped me get to know the school and talk to other people. We did fun activities, group activities, and they also showed us around the school, which was pretty fun because we got to see all the cool stuff there. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a freshman, and in Spartan Time, every so often, a few link crew leaders will come into our class and we'll do group activities. We did one on time management where we each got a paper plate and we separated it into school, homework, clubs, sports, anything you would do. And then we talked about how to manage that stuff and how to balance your life in between academics and then extracurriculars or social life. And I've met a lot of link leaders through basketball too, and it's really nice to just have upperclassmen role models and see them in the halls and say hi. So it was really good to meet them through this program.
Good evening. My name is Antonio. I am a part of our link crew class that we offer at Stevenson. This is our first year, if I'm not mistaken, offering the class. I'm going to keep this short. I was told there's a football game at 7, so I'm not going to keep this. But yeah, so no, actually, my principal told me that, so I'd like to keep my principal happy. Anyway, pretty much what we do in this class is we go out of our way and make sure that freshmen are doing okay throughout the year. What we've been doing through the month of October and plenty of months to come ahead, we do these meetings with around 70 freshmen every Spartan time or mascot time. This month was about bullying. We talked about academics, pretty much explained the Career Center to them. So it's not really a long meeting, but it does get everything out of the way, so they're not really confused about what that stuff is. We also did fall decorations on their Spartan Time doors. We wrote their names on like pumpkins and ghosts, and it looks really cute and it's amazing and it's awesome. Am I missing anything else? I think that's all. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Oh wait, any questions?
Yeah, take a question.
Any questions at all?
Sure, we'll run through the
No
slides.
questions? Well, if you guys don't have any questions, then you guys can come and sit over here with us. Let's grab them.
Yeah, you can sit with us. Good job, Antonio. Do you want to throw them up?
Yeah. Yep, there we go.
So we have 493 freshmen and 96 link leaders. This is May Days in the top right-hand corner, and that is partner tag, which is a riot. They have to be in pairs and then tag each other. It's just to break the ice, and we explained to them that as leaders, you have to be extra to get your freshmen to be a little. And that's Riley in the corner. So that's her training her link leader and her link crew group. That's 64 squares. It's just an activity where they have to work together to get across the files. This is orientation day. That's me, and those are leaders in the middle circle, and all of our ninth graders are around them. And I'm talking about what activities they're part of, because they're all part of all of the things. Like we have artists, we have musicians, we have athletes, we have scholars. The leaders that we selected as coordinators, and any of you can come up too, I'm talking, but we tried to pick a variety because we are a diverse group of students and we want a diverse group of leaders to meet those students. So that's orientation day. We asked for feedback from our leaders, so you guys can read this later, but these are leaders who aren't able to be here, but they talk about how their freshmen come up to them in the halls and say, "Hi, leader, high five," or at homecoming. If you're a ninth grader, you only know maybe you're like 10 friends, and so you go up to your leaders and say hello, and our leaders are great, and so this is just feedback from them. That's what that slide is. And this is other feedback from our ninth graders. I stole my child and her friend, and I made them come so I could drive them because they're ninth graders. Our other children could drive, so I made mine. But this is feedback we got from other ninth graders who have said, it's nice to see a face that you know in the hallway. It's nice to see, especially an upperclassman, because as a ninth grader, you feel like maybe the upperclassmen don't think you're cool or don't see you, and so they just feel seen when they know their person. That's them doing group activities too. And this is what Antonio was talking about, and that's Ellie in the picture. This is fantastic, and although I love Link Crew for the ninth grade connection, what I have appreciated even more is the way I have seen our leaders step up. There aren't a lot of leadership opportunities for juniors and seniors. You can be a captain of the soccer team or but like, what do you really do? You give a little speech at the end and it's one season. These students, and like Antonio I had as a ninth grader, Riley I had as a ninth grader, Kylie I had as a ninth grader, to see them grow and to be able to connect with underclassmen and to go and say, hey, you can sit with us. Hey, I'll see you at homecoming. Hey, high five, have a good day. To watch them lead a presentation. When they're in this room, there's 3 sections of Spartan Times. So that's 90 kids. They're holding the attention of 90 ninth graders, telling them your GPA matters. What do you want to do after high school? This is how you can go into clubs. This is what the Career Center offers. It's amazing. I've sat in. I've taken my leaders down and watched, and it's just a really great opportunity, not just for our ninth graders, but for our juniors and seniors. So I'm really proud of them for that. I don't know if you guys want to add anything. I wasn't even planning on talking. I was just supposed to guide people up, so I'm sorry. But anyways, that's that.
All right. Thank you so much. So very impressive. Great job, and thanks again for all of you making time out of your very busy schedules to join us this evening and to share all the great things that you're doing with our school board, our superintendent, and our community. Thank you again.
Well,
Could we invite Andrew,
we-
Kristen, and Pete just to come up for a quick minute and just each just share maybe a point of impact? We would, we know how embedded you are with these these programs, and I've had a chance personally to speak to each of you about it, and I know how passionate you are about what these amazing students are doing and the staff that is committed to being part of this. So just, maybe a point of impact that you've seen this year.
If I could just echo what Mrs. Sharp was saying, what gives me the greatest pride is, and we have this in all of our buildings throughout the district, not just the high schools, to see the excitement from our staff to reach out to upperclassmen, to reach out to, our younger students, and the positive impacts and the possibilities of where we can go with this. And this is really student driven. I don't know if we've said no to anybody other than maybe some financial restrictions, but the impact that it has, especially when it's being driven by, whether our leaders as students or our leaders as staff, is I just sit back and say yes and go, and we try to fit it into the schedule. So that's what makes me most proud as the principal of Stevenson.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Pete.
I would echo that, and I think it's building on our passions, and having the right leaders in place, is critical. So having our teachers in this leadership role is number one, and by the growth that we've seen at Franklin, they clearly are doing the right job. And then on top of it, it's infectious. Our students want to be a part of this. They want to be something bigger than themselves. They need these opportunities. They crave these opportunities. And as a result, we see them thrive, and it's infectious, like I said. The other thing that I just absolutely love is they're so much bigger than themselves when it comes to what they're about. We have student athletes that are here, but they don't introduce themselves as that. They introduce themselves as so many other things. And I do want to brag on Mac for a second. He came right from football practice to be here.
Yeah.
So he is just one of the many that do so much. And I could rave about each of those students that are behind me right now. But without them, we don't have what we are so proud of. So thank you.
Wow. What else is there? No. It's just so good to have the kids give input and create these activities and come up with all of the ideas. Their creativity and their ideas that they have are just amazing. The different activities that they have throughout the year. And one thing that is notable, at the beginning of the year on the first day of school, I walked in and I was watching all the kids prepare, and I saw a group of girls who maybe didn't make the best choices last year. And I said, you guys don't have to be here yet. It's a half day. They said, Miss Casada, we're mentors. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so the great thing is a lot of times we have kids who volunteer who are really good students academically, they make great choices, they're leaders within the community, but not every single child is the same. So one thing that we pride ourselves with is we have mentors from all different levels of academia, all different groups, and I just love that. Everybody's involved on different levels. So we're all proud principals, and it's a great district. So that's all. Thank you.
Way to go.
Well, I know people at this table have things to say.
You think?
I don't even have to ask. I already know. So we'll get started. Mr. McFarland.
So, wow, I went to these schools a long time ago. Nothing like this existed. Congratulations to all of you guys for doing it. And not to bore you with what you're learning, but these are soft skills that you're going to carry on well beyond your time in Livonia schools. You're showing that you're coachable, or that you can coach. You're showing that you can exhibit empathy, or that you can take and you can be vulnerable. So embrace this, love it, and carry it on to what you do next. Any organization worth being part of will have something like this as you go forward. So thank you.
All right, anybody else? Oh, Mrs. Jarvis.
Thank you. Boy, when I look at you, I'm looking at a room full of leaders. And sometimes when you're a leader, you don't always feel like a leader, and you feel like maybe you're not the right person for doing the job. But I'm here to tell you, you're the right person doing the job. And that a leader is a person who lives inclusion. And I see you guys living that. But importantly, you may think that you're reaching out and touching one or two freshmen, helping them have a good year. But I will tell you that you're helping them have a good life. And you may be changing the trajectory of their whole life. Keep doing what you're doing.
Very nicely said. Oh, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on up.
Well, back in the day when I was in high school, yes, they did. They even had electricity. Yeah. We had 10th, 11th, and 12th. And there was a gap between freshmen and seniors then. So I can't even imagine what the gap is now between freshmen and seniors. So to have something like this that allows you to bring them together and show them the ropes and make them feel comfortable. I just remember the first day that I was in high school, it was like you had no idea what you were doing. You were scared, you were nervous. You had different feeder schools at that time. To show you how old I am, I went to Bentley. Yeah,
they don't
quit
even
laughing.
know what Bentley is.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a high school. It's where the rec center is now. But just to see the mentorship that you have, and all of you are wonderful speakers. Every one of you came up here and you had no fear. That's wonderful, particularly the global ed students. My daughter was global ed, and I saw the increase in her confidence and her ability to speak from her freshman year to her senior year. But all of you are wonderful. You stepped up, you said what you wanted to say. A lot of it came from the heart, you could feel it. And that's wonderful. You pass that along to your freshmen. And I'm sure that makes all of the freshmen feel wanted, guided, and they're part of the school. So keep doing what you're doing. These are great programs, and we support them 100%. Thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Acosta.
I usually let my board colleagues do all the talking. But I just want to just commend the principals and the staff for making the school communities a safe environment where these programs can thrive, because students feel safe to be themselves and to be leaders for others. So thank you.
All right, well said. Mrs. Frank, surprising.
There's a game at 7. No, I think it's been well said. And so I really am proud of each of you and just what you're doing for the community. It really builds, makes people feel like they're part of something. And so I love that. I have 100 questions for the principals, but I'll save that for later, just how it works and what it looks like. And is it part of student activities? Is it its own separate thing, or is it part of student activities? Or is each school different?
It's both. We have student activities leaders, but then we have a whole other group of kids that don't have anything to do with student activities.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Rapson, our LMC director, and Merce, our activities director, work together.
Okay. I love it. Another time. Well, when there's not a football game. Yes. But I love it.
She'll
Thanks so
find
much.
you.
Yes.
She'll find you.
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Burton.
One common thread that I heard through all three of your presentations, which were all very unique, which I, first off, I loved your presentations were unique, because it tells me that it is student driven. And each group of students in each of our 3 schools is going to come up with different ideas and different thoughts and different things you think are worth giving a shot to this year and tweaking for next year. But I'm glad you guys are doing it separately. I also hope over a few years you pick up the best ideas from each other and take a few of those and run with it. So I love the independence of each school being able to take it and run with it and do exactly what fits their school that year. And the common thread that I heard over and over was belonging, which is so important, not only to high school students, it's important for adults as you walk into a room that you may not know anybody in. Everyone gets those jitters. Do you feel like you fit in here or not? But you folks are putting yourselves out to make sure that other people's jitters are going away. And that's to be commended. As my colleagues have said, you're helping others, and you yourselves may see the most growth as leaders. And I hope you continue to take this and find other ways to continue to serve others. And I venture to say that I'm looking at the cream of the crop of those leaders that are going to continue doing that. So do keep doing it, because you will help other people, and you'll also grow your own heart at the same time.
I know Mrs. Oquist wants to speak, but I'm going to speak before her because she always usually wraps it all up. I just want to say I had a tremendous feeling a sense of pride listening to all of you today. You're all contributors, and in the most fantastic way. And no matter where you come from, what walk of life you have, you're sharing your gifts and your talents with somebody else. And that is something that is far greater sometimes than, I know we're all about academics, but it's far greater about being a good person and a good human. And you're passing those traits on to other people. So continue to let your light shine brightly for others and, make people feel good, because that's what makes our whole community so much better. And the fact that you're here today just makes me so happy, because yeah, we know there's a football game going on, but I could sit here and listen to you for such a longer length of time, but we're so proud of you. So continue it, and to the staff and to everybody who puts these programs together, know that this board is so proud of you, and we hope that you continue your efforts every year. So go out there and shine.
Thanks. I was hoping I would get a chance to say something.
I guess Mrs. Oquist.
Thank you. No, I love what our board colleagues have shared, and I want you to just turn around for a minute and take a look at the banner behind you, because we recently adopted this portrait of an LPS graduate, thanks to our Vision Forward team. And I want you to know that you embody each and every aspect on there. I don't know that there could be a better example of what we hope to create. This portrait of an LPS graduate is what we hope we build from kindergarten until the time you end your educational journey with us. And you are modeling those traits of being confident, of being a contributor, of being a critical thinker, and communicating carefully with others, and building that connection. So I don't know that we've seen a better example of that than we've seen here tonight. And I'm so grateful to each of our LPS colleagues, our staff, our building principals, and please express our gratitude, because we know not all of the mentors could be here tonight, both on the staff or in the student end. And you have made such an impression on our hearts and on our mind and on our district from the work that you're doing. And you truly are modeling what it means to be an LPS graduate, and you're helping build that in the next generation of students that come through. And I'm so glad you mentioned about the uniqueness of each program, because from Charger Connect to Patriots Relate to the Link Crew, each one of you have put your own personal stamp on what you're doing with your classmates, and you're building that in the light and in the model of your school community. And each of you are unique, and each of you have something special to share, both as a person, but also as a group. And so I love that independent nature, and hearing your principals talk about their pride for what you're doing. This isn't the first time we've heard about each of you, both from a staff and a student standpoint. And we're so excited to see this happening across each of our high schools. So thanks for being with us tonight, but most of all, thanks for what you're doing every day, starting with your training and orientation, but even more importantly, what you're continuing each day throughout the year. We're so proud of you.
And next up, what would you like to go? We do. All right. Okay, students and staff, thank you. Oh, well, I invited them to stay, but I know how they. You can sit with us some more.
Good idea, Liz.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, have a great night. Thank you, everybody. Okay. All right. We're going to go on to item 3B, and this is just as exciting. Every regular meeting, we have the district update from our superintendent, and so we're looking forward to her today. Thank you, giving us all the wonderful things in addition to what we saw
here tonight.
So
awesome.
Thank you.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll. So we have Mrs. Ward who's going to put that up on the screen for us, and we will start our district update. Sure. Yep. All right. and we will start our district update. Oh, she's, okay, all
Oh,
right.
she's
sounds good.
getting there, we're getting there.
Okay, here we go. All right. So we always start with learning and growing, right? Because that really is what we're all about. So we're going to hop through some photos of some cool things happening. There's kind of a science theme in some of the pictures we have here tonight. So we're talking about our kiddos in 3rd grade at Kennedy in Mrs. Rollins' class having fun with friction. Always great to see those collaborative working groups. And you'll see that theme throughout the slides here tonight. We have Mrs. Chakra's 1st grade class over at Coolidge. They're working hard in their literacy lab. So as we do both small group instruction and some independent work during that literacy time is so important to make those connections, especially in those early years. We have Emerson's automation and robotics students working in their program over at Emerson at the middle school level. Some really cool STEM classes that we have going on, very high interest and high energy. At Rosedale, our kiddos are having a great start to the year, and so you see learning happening in lots of different forms. And we see our 4th graders there in the center. I believe those are some of our safeties or student service squad students there. And we have at Emerson, back at Emerson, we're doing some testing of physical and chemical reactions. You'll notice the safety goggles are on. So we see some things being mixed and mingled there, and that hands-on learning is always such a powerful way for our students to learn and to really have that opportunity to take in and do some experimentation on their own. At Frost, we have our students checking out stone tools and different artifacts during their social studies class. Again, working in partners, working in pairs and small groups. And then moving on to some community service. Stevenson's hockey team was at the Family Fun Day. They were doing some stick taping. If you've ever done that, the taping isn't so bad. The removal of the tape to get new tape on is usually the challenge. So I'm sure they were happy to see some experienced stick handlers there with them. Some great pictures from the past few weeks. We've had homecoming going on, so we see Franklin there. Awesome game against Wayne Memorial, 42-13, and we see lots of Patriot pride in the stands with their red, white, and blue. At Stevenson, homecoming, they had a win over Churchill. Boy, that was a neck and neck game the entire game. Back and forth, 2 great teams battling it out. And then you see at Stevenson, King and Queen named at homecoming there with Sparty. Sparty's got some a fresh new fit, and he has great new outfit there. And then Churchill, awesome homecoming this past weekend, both the game and the dance, and we had all of our seniors out there for their annual picture. They faced off against the Patriots. They didn't come out in the way that they had hoped, but overall had a great homecoming weekend. And we had our Franklin Palmers are really active in the community in lots of different ways, but they had alum from the team as well as current Palmers take part in the Detroit ALS Walk. And to show their love and support for family members and friends afflicted with ALS. And I know many of you have attended Undakai. So Undakai is the Japanese equivalent of a field day. There are some pictures here. I mean, I love that expression of the student on the left. And tug of war is always taken very seriously there. But you see different really cool events happening, very unique, and a ton of clearly student participation, but a ton of parent participation. Over 70 parent volunteers were there to help with things, but also lots of families there to watch throughout the day. So another great Undakai. I believe we shared in our last link some great highlights from our unified field day. So we had over 300 students from both special education and general education from Grant, Johnson, Randolph, Webster, Churchill, Franklin, and Frost. It was a rainy day. They were prepared to have it outside at Churchill. And of course, they all together made it happen indoors. And the students had a fantastic time together. And I want to thank all of the staff who helped bring our students together to create these kind of amazing experiences. So a few different photos from that day and a really, really enjoyable time had by all. Roosevelt has some new recess equipment that is always fun. So you see the that cart. It generally looks like that the first few days. It sometimes maybe gets a little astray after that, but it holds jump ropes and balls, and so they got some new equipment, including chalk and basketballs and soccer nets, and always fun to rejuvenate outdoor play with some of that equipment. And I love this. I don't know how many of you have seen this before, but our kitchen manager over at Johnson, they call her Miss Kathy. She is an amazing artist, and she regularly brightens up the entryway into the cafeteria, into the kitchen area where the kids get their meals. And this is her fall decorations for the year. So isn't that pretty special? Yeah. Really, really neat. And as you know, we've seen a lot from the Hayes Green team. They are very active. They're really working on their composting this year. And so Mrs. Lakatos is the staff member who oversees the Hayes Green team. And so they were doing quite a bit with understanding what items should be part of composting the leftover food when they're in the cafeteria. And it's all part of their green team efforts that they have going on throughout the school. They recently also had a great walk to school effort, and it's really encouraging families to walk or ride bikes and not drive cars to school, and they had a fantastic turnout for that. Churchill Spirit Day at Randolph, so throughout the Churchill Triad in anticipation of homecoming, I know they did it at Roosevelt as well, or I'm sorry, Rosedale as well. They sported some jerseys from the Churchill football team in anticipation of the homecoming weekend. So we saw that at a couple of different schools within the Triad. So you see the staff there at Randolph. And I know a few of us were able to make the marching band showcase. It was an absolutely perfect night. But that top left-hand picture are the bands from our 3 high schools, and also Clarenceville was invited to perform. In addition to that, we had 8th graders from each of our middle schools there. So there were over 300 musicians on the field when the evening started. And they each had about a 20-minute showcase of their own. They took their halftime programs, and they had it uninterrupted. So first they were all together for the national anthem, including our middle school students, and then each of the 4 high schools had a chance to be on the field for about 20 minutes apiece. And were they impressive, from the footwork to the music, the programs themselves, very, very impressive. The drum majors were outstanding, and we had some very, very proud teachers there as well. So I know we enjoyed their talents very, very much. As you know, you heard a couple of our students talk about October being Bullying Prevention Month. And so at Frost, doing some fantastic work in regard to including all students and making sure that our students are upstanders. So not simply being bystanders and standing aside, but being upstanders by interjecting and standing up for students when they see those things happening. And that whole theme across our middle schools of expect respect, that's the norm as opposed to the exception. And lots of senior nights going on for our fall sports. I know in my update with you, I shared that we were wrapping up and in postseason for some of our teams, and then still in season with some. But these senior nights are always really special. Those final games, those final moments, and I love how special each of our schools make it. I know when we've had guests come through our high schools, there's lots of those photos. You see that photo in the back. They're professionally done, and people are absolutely wowed of the pictures of our seniors around the fields or around the comp gyms. And what a special time, whether it's the rink, wherever they are. The parents, our coaches, our athletic directors do a fantastic job of making sure that happens. So you see Franklin's volleyball senior night, and then boys tennis seniors were honored, losing lots of good talent there. Always great to celebrate a senior night with a win. That's always a big deal. And Churchill continues great work in their cross country team. So they are division KLAA division champs. They've had a fantastic season. And Franklin football is proud to have earned the city champs this past Friday. So all of our teams have had, obviously intra-district competition. And we were just saying today how well each of those games have gone. And sometimes that's, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion with those crosstown rivalries. But we love seeing those games, and congratulations to Franklin, city champs for the 4th year in a row. We saw the boys hockey earlier. Now we see the Livonia Unified girls hockey. They volunteered to be legacy consultants at Livonia's community meal packing event, which means they're back for another year with that effort. Always a great way to give back within the community. And some kudos. We want to congratulate Amy Schlaud. You might remember when, Mr. Stacy? Mr. Jim McConnell, thank you, was here. He told us that he had nominated Mrs. Schlaud. You might have remembered that. Well, she was indeed honored as the Historical Society of Michigan's 2025 Educator of the Year. And she was recognized for starting the A Day at Greenmead, our Day at Newburgh School at Greenmead for our second graders. Started that at Grant, made the connection with the Livonia Historical Society, and was recently honored with that up in Alpena.
Wow.
Yeah. Congratulations. I know Mrs. Jarvis shared this with us at the end of the committee of the whole meeting, but our all-girls robotics team, the Athena Warriors, went through is it really called the Goonettes? The Goonettes Invitational. It's the largest all-girls robotics competition, and they emerged as world champs. So congratulations to our Athena Warriors. Amazing. We have one of our seniors over at Churchill did a neighborhood bottle drive. She raised over $120 and created care bags for patients right over here at Trinity Health in the Cancer Center. And so she has worked toward that and continues to provide those care bags and comfort to local residents. You might have read about this as well. Our Stevenson athletic teams and National Honor Society took part in the Breakfast of Champions. They collected almost 400 boxes of cereal and a ton of food to donate to the CARES program. And it was Pink Out Week last week. Lots of great events. I want to acknowledge Ms. Rosman, Mr. Mesta, Mrs. Fihili, who was here tonight, and Mr. Muscat did an amazing job coordinating an entire week of events in honor of breast cancer warriors and in remembrance of those that we've lost to breast cancer. And the Booster Club donated the money to buy new pink jerseys for the entire team. And they will have those jerseys to use for many years to come. And members of the community were able to make a donation in honor of someone who fought the battle with breast cancer. And each of the players wore their name on the back of their jersey on Friday night at the Pink Out game. And those nameplates will be given back to the folks who donated, and then those jerseys will continue to be worn each year. There were many events throughout the week that were done, and they do this every year. I think this year really just shined. So it was a great night. And mark your calendars. We've got Franklin Players coming up in November, The Descendants. We've got Romeo and Juliet, oh my goodness, Stevenson Drama in December, and that is it. Thanks so much, President Bradford.
What do you mean, that's it?
That's it.
Okay, that was awesome. Okay, thank you so much for that. There's so much going on in the district, and you recapped it beautifully, so thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to item 4. Oh, no, 3C, I can't forget this, audience communications. I'm happy to report we do not have any blue slips this evening, so audience communications is done. Moving on to item 4, our consent agenda. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mr. McFarland.
Excuse me, I was so riveted.
I hear you.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the following consent agenda items as recommended by the superintendent.
Oh, you have to read 5A.
Oh, excuse me.
Do you,
On the same.
do you see it? 5A?
Oh, excuse me. Minutes of the regular meeting of September 22nd, 2025.
Support.
Very good. We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Frank, for the consent agenda. This is any items on the consent agenda. Is there any member of the board that wishes to remove this item? All right, seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Frank for the consent agenda. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Frank?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 6, business matters. Item 6A, the acceptance of financial statements for the 2024-2025 year. May I have, oh, no, I'm sorry. Not may I have a, yeah, may I have a motion, please? Oh, good Lord. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford?
Mrs. Acosta.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the 2024-2025 audit report as presented by the audit firm of Plant Moran.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mr. Johnson, for the acceptance of financial statements for the 2024-2025 school year. And this evening, we're going to hear from Mrs. Smith and I think a few others.
We do have a few friends with us tonight. Thank you and good evening. Tonight, we're pleased to welcome our auditors from Plant Moran, who will be presenting the results of the district's financial audit for the 24-25 school year. For those who follow the board meetings, they'll know that we went over this in detail at both our study session and the committee of the whole meeting. So anybody that'd like to take a look at the financial statements or go into a little bit more depth, I encourage you to go to the district's website and you can watch our committee of the whole meeting where we went over some of the highlights of the financial statements. As a brief summary, I'm pleased to note that our actual revenues and expenditures for the 24-25 school year came within 0.5% of the budget. This reflects strong fiscal management and careful planning throughout the year. The district's 24-25 fiscal year ended with a fund balance of $31.3 million, or about 16.8% of total expenditures. This places us comfortably within the Michigan School Business Officials' recommended 15 to 20% range. That helps us maintain financial stability, and it also allows us to effectively respond to future needs. And we know that especially this year with a budget that was not passed until October 7th, although we had to start our school year off well before that with staffing and everything that our students need. So thank you, community, for the support that you provide for us and for that healthy fund balance that allows us to go through that and know that we can have a little bit of comfort knowing that we have funds to get us through until that is passed. So. While we typically focus our presentations on revenues and expenditures, tonight our auditors are going to go over a few more things that we generally don't talk about on a day-to-day basis, like our assets and liabilities, but that'll help us give us a general overview of our financial position. And before I turn it over to our auditors, I just want to reassure our community that every tax dollar that comes into this community is accounted for, and to reassure them, I live here. You live here. We're taxpayers, parents, neighbors. These are our tax dollars too. And I feel so proud that we have controls in place that every penny is accounted for. We have payroll records, we have invoices, we have receipts for every expense. I feel like sometimes when you hear about government spending, it seems like how can you not know where money went, and how do we not have enough money to do the things we want to do? I just want to reassure our community we're different. I can confidently say I know where every penny goes, and every penny runs through our financial office, and we make sure that we have all the supports for it. And I'm happy to share, and I don't want to steal our auditor's thunder, that we had a clean audit, that they have issued an unmodified opinion saying that our financial statements are clear of any misstatements, so that can give our community further reassurance that we have good controls in place. We are doing the right things with those tax dollars that were entrusted to us. So that's the great news. So maybe not as great as the Peer Connections, but we're very happy to be behind the scenes doing what we do so that they can do what they do. And with that, I'm going to turn it over. We've got Stephanie and Tim here from Plant Moran. We've got a slideshow we walked through last week, but we'll put it up on the screens and they'll go over some of the highlights of the audit for us.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Thanks for having us here tonight. I'm Stephanie Atkinson. I was one of the managers on the engagement this year, and I'm happy to be here tonight to present good audit results. We had a very successful audit this year, and we do have a brief presentation that we wanted to walk through. But before we dive into that, I did want to give just a brief overview of the process and everything that went into the audit. So we actually begin this process in late spring when we start with planning and risk assessments along with assessing controls that are in place. And then we tailor our audit approach based on any potential risks identified. In terms of testing, we perform analytical procedures and tests of transactions using statistical sampling to gain assurance on the reasonableness of the reported activity. We confirm cash and investment balances and review subsequent activity to understand if the reported liabilities are complete. These are just a few examples of the tests that we perform. And then once we obtain a sufficient level of assurance from our procedures, based on the evidence gathered to support those balances, we can offer an opinion on the financial statements. And so, as Allison stated, we've issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can give for an audit, and that means that your financial statements are free from material misstatement. We also perform a single audit. The major programs in the current year were Title I and IDEA, and then for the single audit, we have also issued an unmodified opinion, and there were no findings in the current year. Compliance audits are a little different from the financial statement audits in that there's really no materiality that we consider. So compliance audits are more black and white with little to no room for hiccups. And due to the level of scrutiny that we're required to have, it's actually a big deal that there were no findings. This year, due to some delays with the compliance supplement coming out, the single audit will remain in draft until the compliance supplement is issued. That's all we're waiting on, and the MDE has given us a waiver of 30 days to issue that once that compliance supplement comes out. I want to thank Allison and her team for all the work that goes into preparing for the audit and working through the audit with us, and the responsiveness and professionalism of her team. We're just very appreciative of the partnership. And then with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tim to walk through the first part of the presentation.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, and feel free. I know all the children had great faces, but feel free to cover mine. I'm totally okay with that for the rest of the presentation. This first table represents all the fund level activities for the school district. This year's major funds include the Special Education Fund and the 2025 Bond Series 3 Fund. The general fund assets were $80 million, and the liabilities were $49.6 million for this year. And the fund balance decreased $2.2 million from 2024 to $80 million this year. We will have a couple more slides that will go into detail for the reasons for the decrease this year. The significant assets are made up of cash and investments, as well as state receivables for July and August state aid. Significant liabilities include the summer pay for the teachers and due to other government units, as well as unearned revenue. The fund balance in 2025 Series 3 fund is restricted for capital expenditures and will decrease over time as bond proceeds are expended. Assigned fund balance in the general fund represents a portion of fund balance expected to be used in fiscal year 25-26, as budgeted expenditures are initially projected to outpace revenues. This next slide is the budgetary comparison for the general fund, excluding funded projects fund activity. Best practices of sound budgeting would range anywhere from 1% to 3% as a variance for spending. As you can see, the district has a favorable budget variance of less than 1%, and almost every single individual line item on the financial statements had a favorable variance, which we would like to give kudos to the district for, which is something that to be proud of because we don't see it too often. Revenue landed at 0.43% of the final budget. Management carefully monitors finances and incorporated expected enrollment declines within the budget. This next slide presents the combined general fund, which includes the funded projects component. General fund balances as a percentage of total expenditures was approximately 15%, which is considered a healthy fund balance. As Allison had mentioned during her opening portion, the MSBO recommends anywhere from 15 to 20%, so Livonia does fall within that range. The statewide average for the prior year, as of June 30th, 2024, was 24.7%, so Livonia was well under that. General fund revenues, excluding federal revenues, stayed consistent with the prior year. General fund federal revenues did decrease by $6.3 million during the year, which is mainly driven by the lack of ESSER funds during the current year. However, the general fund expenditures did decrease by $2.5 million in the current year as well. Consistent with prior years, the district did receive $11.7 million in 147C1 stabilization money. That will be an in and out directly from the state back to the ORS to fund the retirement system. There was also $2.6 million in a one-time payment of 147C2. There was no 147C2 in the prior year, and for 147C1 in the prior year, there was about $21.5 million that was received. This next slide shows the revenue of the general fund for the year ended June 30th, 2025. The largest portion of funding comes from the state and makes up 71.7% of general fund revenues. This includes the state's portion of the foundation allowance as well as categorical funding. The next largest component is local revenue, which is about $36 million. This is comprised primarily of property tax revenue. Other revenue of $10.5 million is represented largely by transfers from other funds and special education funding from Wayne Risa. Enhancement millage revenue was $5.2 million in the current year. This millage runs through 2028, and this amount represents Livonia's allocation of those funds for the fiscal year 2025. This next slide here, this slide shows the district expenditures and shows them by object type, or essentially where they're being spent within the district. As you expect for an organization where people are their biggest resources, the largest components of expenditures is in salaries and benefits. Salaries and benefits, including healthcare and retirement costs, comprise 88% of the total expenditures. This is consistent with prior year's allocation. One other item to note is the retirement and other employee benefit costs represent about 36% of the total district expenses during the year. And with that, I will pass it back to Stephanie, and she will close us out with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tim. We can move forward one slide. All right. So GASB 68 and 75 are related to your legacy costs. So the MIPSRS plan covering pension and OPEB, which is your retiree healthcare, provides an allocated share of the retirement system activity based on contributions into that plan. The pension plan at the state level shows a net liability of about $30.1 billion versus $32.4 billion in the prior year. And the OPEB plan actually reported an overfunding of an asset this year versus a $566 million liability in the prior year. The year-over-year change for all districts is due to the fluctuation of the value of the investments based on a favorable market conditions. And the estimate is determined by the Office of Retirement Services with the assistance of an actuary. Small swings in these inputs and projections, they would create significant changes in the liability reported, which is as illustrated in the sensitivity analysis that's disclosed in the financial statements. The district presents a $267 million liability for the pension portion of the underfunded MIPSers retirement plan under GASB 68, and then actually a $46 million asset for the OPEB portion of the plan under GASB 75. This does not impact your fund level statements, including general fund, and nearly all districts in Michigan will show a deficit net position in their government-wide statements because of their MIPSers participation and allocated share of the MIPSers liabilities. Move forward one slide. All right. So this slide takes the effects of the pension and OPEB and backs them out, which shows that if you take the impacts of pension and OPEB, if you take those out, you have a positive net position. The government-wide net position in the financial statements actually shows a deficit of $102.8 million compared to a positive net position of $178 million here, and there's no impact on the fund level statements. This is similar to all other school districts in Michigan, so just wanted to point it out with this slide. Move forward one slide. All right, this chart demonstrates the district's fund balance as a percent of expenditures, which is a key metric applied by the state to measure financial health. Since 2018, the district has remained within the 15 to 20% window as recommended by MSBO. The statewide average is 24.7% as of June 30, 2024, which is the most recent data as of the 2025 figures have not been released. I want to stress the importance of fund balance just to withstand cuts without being reactionary, and impacting students. It improves bond ratings, and it allows the district to operate without borrowing, so reducing interest costs and keeping more money in the classroom. It's important to keep focus on fiscal responsibility, and a healthy financial position reduces borrowing costs for the district and community, prevents disruptions in the spending plans, particularly as the COVID funding has expired. The fund balance affords the district flexibility amidst uncertainty. There's uncertainty that remains in the current economic landscape, and state aid allocations given the inflationary environment, pupil count trends, declining statewide, and a potential recessionary outlook in coming years that could further impact state aid funding. In 2025, the percentage for LPS was 15%, which is within that window suggested by MSBO. And that was the end of our presentation. I'd like to thank you for the continued opportunity to serve, and I'd like to thank Allison again and team for the professionalism they show our team each year. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from anybody on the board?
We reviewed it in depth last time.
Mrs. Burton.
Just a clarification for the benefit of the public. Stephanie, you mentioned that we still do not have a compliance supplement, and that is holding one piece of our audit in a draft form.
Correct, yes. So that is yet to be issued. That is not the federal compliance supplement that is comes out is issued new each year, has not been released. So we are waiting on that. We are not able to finalize that audit until that is issued, and then we will have to do some comparison. We've basically done the entire audit, but once that piece comes out, we have 30 days, and then we will finalize that report.
Okay, and it's my understanding that our piece looks perfectly fine at this point.
That we are expecting to issue an unmodified opinion for that single audit as well.
Okay, and that is a piece that this is a compliance supplement that we're waiting on to be released from the federal government before ours can just be
filed.
Stamped, done.
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
great. All right, thank you. I'm not surprised because I've seen it year after year, but it absolutely demands recognition, Allison, to you and your department, and frankly, all of the employees of Livonia Public Schools for holding our budget to within 0.5%. That's amazing. We have a multi-million-dollar budget, and year after year, you do this. You lead our financial department. And like you said, every penny is accounted for, and not only is it accounted for, but it is spent as it is budgeted. Not over, not under, but we deliver the appropriate education for our kiddos, and we spend the dollars allocated in a given year on this year's kiddos. To come within 0.5% year after year is absolutely commendable. Thank you very much. As a board member, it feels really good when I hear periodically, we all do, that, oh my goodness, XYZ district is in trouble because their COVID dollars have dried up. Well, we do not worry about that because we had discussion from day one that one-time money, such as COVID dollars, are not used for legacy costs. We don't worry about that because we knew that going in, that they were one-time costs. We spent them appropriately for our kids as one-time costs, so we don't have a fall-off that other districts may have experienced because they utilize them for ongoing expenses. That's just one example of the wisdom that you bring when you bring a budget force to this Board of Education, but it is not taken for granted for a moment. The absolute trust that we have in you and your department, and we want to thank you for that.
I also want to echo that, and to come so closely when we have to make an estimate or guesstimate on our budget because the state doesn't have their budget in place, to me is amazing that you're able to get your team and everybody to do that. So we want to thank Plant Moran folks for all their hard work during the audit, and we also want to thank our department. Yeah, they're fantastic, and we're really blessed that of the work that we see every day from you. So thank you.
Exceptional work.
Yes.
Exceptional work, Allison. To you and your team, and as you know, our finance office has been understaffed, and so to do this kind of exceptional work with this diligence requires a lot of above and beyond. And that is what Mrs. Smith and her team do on a daily basis. She leads that, she models it, and she lives that, and it shows. And thank you so much, Plant Moran. We continue to value your partnership, not only now, but throughout the year. We know that we can call on you when we have a question, when we're reviewing something, or we want to get advice about a practice or a protocol. You are great partners to us. So thank you for the time that you and your team have taken.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a great evening. Thank you so
folks.
much. We do have to vote on this, so we have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mr. Johnson, for the acceptance of financial statements for the 2024-25 year. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mrs. Frank,
Yes.
Mrs. Burton.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 6B, the approval of purchase of PA and classroom audio systems. May I have a motion, please?
Yep. Hang on.
There. One moment.
President Bradford.
Mrs. Frank,
Thank you so much.
technical difficulties, but we're going to get there.
One moment, please. Thank you. Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the recommendation to replace the district's current school PA and classroom audio system with the EPIC platform form VSC Novi, Michigan, in the amount of $4,141,312, which includes a $200,000 contingency.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Frank, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the approval of purchase of PA and classroom audio systems. This evening, we're going to hear from Mr. Green.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Green.
We are excited about this purchase of the EPIC system. Mr. Klan last week at our committee of the whole gave a great explanation, and I appreciate the Board of Education's questions, and I hope that feedback was helpful. So we'd ask that you approve this tonight, and with this new system, it'll not only update our clarity in our audio and enhance our safety features, but you would also hear so clearly that the Lions are up 14-0 right now with that. So we'd ask for your approval.
Thank you so much, Mr. Green. 'Tis good news. All right, we have a motion by Mrs. Frank, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the approval of purchase of PA and classroom audio systems. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Frank,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 6C, the approval of purchase of IT network server. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mrs. Burton.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the recommendation to award the IT network server project to CDW Incorporated, located in Chicago, Illinois, in the total amount of $125,550 based on REMC bid pricing.
Support. We have a motion by Mrs. Burton, supported by Mrs. Frank, for the approval of purchase of the IT network server. And again, Mr. Green.
Thank you again. As you heard last week from Mr. Clan, our network is fantastic, kept up, maintained, but as time goes by, we need to replace certain pieces, and the head network server is going to be upgraded, which will help performance across the district and the many functions of said server. So we'd ask for your approval tonight.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, President Bradford. Mr. Green, just remind us, the old server is going to be used as a backup?
That is correct. We can take that old server and they can repurpose it just like the IT department does, and they can use that either here or at other sites.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Burton, supported by Mrs. Frank, for the approval of purchase of an IT network server. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mrs. Frank?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 6D, the approval of HVAC repairs. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mr. Johnson.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District authorize emergency repairs to resolve air conditioning failures caused by design issues at a cost not to exceed $1,100,000.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Burton, for the approval of HVAC repairs. And again, Mr. Green.
Hello again. We have spoken on this topic several times at study sessions and last week at the Committee of the Whole. These were repairs that were needed to update our air conditioning, and we discussed the need to do that in a timely fashion for our staff in our classroom environment. We'd ask that you approve this dollar amount. That was something we needed to bring to the board for approval, so we ask for your approval this evening. And Ms. Smith, if I'm missing any details, feel free to chime in.
I think you covered it, and we really did cover it in detail leading up to this meeting, but I'll mention again, these are costs that we're working closely with our attorneys on, and we're tracking, and we're seeking reimbursement for them. So we'll keep the board updated on how those negotiations and talks go.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Thanks for staying on top of it.
Yeah, thank you for staying on top of it. We appreciate that. We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Burton, for the approval of HVAC repairs. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mrs. Frank?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 6E, the approval of purchase of athletics bleachers. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the recommendation to purchase 2 sets of bleachers for Stevenson High School's practice field from Southern Bleacher Company Incorporated, located in Graham, Texas, for a total amount of $35,850.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mr. Johnson, for the approval of purchase of athletic bleachers. And once again, Mr. Green.
Hello. We appreciate your questions last week, and thank you for the follow-up, allowing me to give you the follow-up on the protection on those bleachers. While certainly not to the comfort of maybe Ford Field bleachers and seats, these bleachers are pretty impressive, and the cement slabs are down, and we're looking forward for approval of this purchase so we can have those available to the public.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mr. Johnson, for the approval of purchase of athletic bleachers. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mrs. Frank?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 7, instruction matters. We have 7A, the approval of 35M grant purchases. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford,
Mr. McFarland.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the recommended purchase into Reading 2025 print and digital materials for 5th grade students and teachers, professional development on the new materials and small group instruction books for K through 4 and 5-6 book rooms from Houghton Mifflin Harcourt in Chicago, Illinois, at a total cost not to exceed $733,960.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the approval of 35M grant purchases. And this evening, we're going to hear from Mrs. O'Brien. Good evening, Mrs. O'Brien.
Good evening, President Bradford. This purchase is part of a grant that we applied and were approved for. The total grant is the $733,960. It can only be spent through Houghton Mifflin Harcourt because they are one of the state-approved vendors under this grant, and we only applied to purchase materials from them. So the breakdown of our grant is digital and print materials are $451,155, not to exceed that amount. We may not hit that amount. Professional development, $16,500, and then those Lexile leveled readers for our book rooms is $266,305. So we applied for a grant. We may not reach that total amount, but all of the purchase will be from the one company, not to exceed that amount.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I just want to thank you for the giving us the tutorial on the guided reading in the Lexile materials. That was really, really helpful, and it gave us a good idea of what the materials are and how you're using them.
Yes,
So
how we're
thank you.
shifting our small group instruction.
Yeah, I like that. That's wonderful. So
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Jarvis.
For the benefit of the public, there is some concern that we remain compliant with the state's recommendation for science of reading, and this program is compliant with that program?
That is the purpose of this grant, to meet the state of Michigan's shifting towards the science of reading. It's called the dyslexia bill. So there'll be more things that come out. The bill was passed about 18 months ago, and each year they roll out different parts of it as our legislature does their work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Along those same lines, this is a grant. As we move forward, will there be opportunities for additional grants?
That is my assumption. I've been applying for grants for about 5 years, each with a targeted area of literacy, so that would be my assumption.
Thank you, and thank you for all the grants that we've gotten in the past for these materials. It's just been outstanding.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the approval of 35M grant purchases. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Frank?
Yes.
Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford?
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 8, personnel matters. We have item 8A, teachers for approval. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford?
Mrs. Acosta.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the superintendent and offer employment for the 2025-26 school year to the teachers listed on the attached document.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Frank, for teachers for approval. And this evening, we're going to hear from Mr. Abate.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. The new staff members we are presenting to the board this evening fill needs in elementary student support services. They are very well qualified to fill these respective roles, and we are confident they perform at a high level and represent LPS in a manner that's consistent with our shared vision and collective commitments. The positions have also been included in the current budget. We are pleased to be recommending these talented professionals, and with your approval, we're excited to have them working with our students.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Welcome. Okay. We have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Frank, for the teachers for approval. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mrs. Frank,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mrs. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford,
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 8B, teachers for tenure. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mrs. Frank.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the superintendent and acknowledge that tenure status has been granted to the following teachers, effective on the respective date. Ian Boynton, October 30th, 2025. Marla Kepsel, October 9th, 2025. Lori Tomei, August 23rd, 2025. Howard Weiner, October 9th, 2025.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Frank, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for teachers for tenure. And again, we'll hear from Mr. Abate.
Yes, thank you. Our teachers for tenure on this agenda have successfully completed the district's requirements for probationary teachers, including years of service and evaluations of performance. We've carefully reviewed all supporting materials and have verified they should be granted tenure status with Livonia Public Schools. We wish to offer our congratulations for reaching this milestone and look forward to their continued success working in LPS.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. Frank, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the teachers for tenure. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Frank,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mrs. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford,
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 8C, leave of absence. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford,
Mrs. Burton.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve the request for a leave of absence as listed below. Samantha Shimatke, 2025-26 school year.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Burton, supported by Mrs. Frank, for leave of absence. And Mr. Abate.
Yes, thank you. The leave was requested according to district policy and collective bargaining agreement, and we ask that you please approve the leave as issued.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. Burton, supported by Mrs. Frank, for leave of absence. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Burton,
Yes.
Mrs. Frank,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford,
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to 8D, retirement. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford,
Mr. Johnson.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District adopt the attached resolution of appreciation for services rendered by Beth Lebowski.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for retirement. And Mr. Abate.
Yes, thank you again. And tonight we honor and congratulate one member of LPS family, Miss Beth Lebowski, who is retiring from her position with Livonia Public Schools. She leaves the district after giving 27 successful years of instruction and support to LPS students, most notably in her later years, a huge contribution in getting the Frost Robo Falcons up and off the ground as one of their first coaches. On behalf of the administration, I would like to thank her for her dedicated years of service she provided to our students. We ask the board to please adopt the attached resolution of appreciation.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Congratulations and a happy retirement. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for retirement. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mrs. Frank,
Yes.
Mrs. Burton,
Yes. Sorry, microphone issue.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford,
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 9, hearing from board members. Item 9A, second reading, Board Policy GAAA, Non-Discrimination, Civil Rights and Title IX. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford,
Mrs. Jarvis.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the Board Policy Committee and adopt board policy language per the attached document for Board Policy GAAA, non-discrimination of civil rights and Title IX.
Support. We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Frank, for the second reading, Board Policy GAAA, Non-Discrimination, Civil Rights, and Title IX. And this evening, we're going to hear from Mr. Abate.
Yes, thank you. So this policy, the one notable change I believe that Mr. Johnson caught the last time around was regarding the address of the Civil Rights Office in our region, which we wanted to verify whether was accurate. We've come to find that some recent developments in federal office staffing, we'll say, has made that rather uncertain. So we're going to go ahead and leave that address out. We don't feel it's necessary for this particular purpose, but it does still note that folks can issue a complaint directly to the U.S. Department of Education for civil rights issues if they prefer not to follow through with this particular policy with the district. Otherwise, it reads unchanged from our initial reading.
Thank you, and that was read at the last regular board meeting for the public's sake, so that you know that. Are there any questions or comments regarding this policy? Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Frank, for the second reading, Board Policy GAAA, Non-Discrimination, Civil Rights, and Title IX. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mrs. Frank.
Yes.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Burton.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford.
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 9B, second reading, Board Policy IDAC, Kindergarten. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mr. McFarland.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the Board Policy Committee and adopt board policy language per the attached document for Board Policy IDAC, Kindergarten.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mr. Johnson, for the second reading of Board Policy IDAC, Kindergarten. And this evening, we're going to hear from Mrs. O'Brien.
Thank you, President Bradford. This policy has not been changed since our first reading at our last regular meeting. It has been updated. The last time it was reviewed was 2014, and we updated it over the last 3 meetings.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding this policy? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mr. Johnson. Second reading, Board Policy IDAC, Kindergarten. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mrs. Frank.
Yes.
Mrs. Burton.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford.
Yes, and the motion carries. Moving on to item 9C, second reading, Board Policy IDB, Health Education. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mrs. Acosta.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the Board Policy Committee and adopt board policy language per the attached document for Board Policy IDB, Health Education.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the second reading of Board Policy IDB, Health Education. And again, Mrs. O'Brien.
Thank you, President Bradford. This policy also has not been changed since its first reading. It has been updated the last time, 2017, and we ask that it be approved as is.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the second reading of Board Policy IDB, Health Education. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Frank.
Yes.
Mrs. Burton.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 9D, second reading, Board Policy IDBB, Substance Abuse Education. May I have a motion, please?
President Bradford.
Mrs. Frank.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the Board Policy Committee and adopt board policy language per the attached document for Board Policy IDBB, Substance Abuse Education.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Frank, supported by Mrs. Burton, for second reading of Board Policy IDBB, Substance Abuse Education, and we're, again, Mrs. O'Brien.
Thank you, President Bradford. This is our third policy from my department. It is read the same. There have been no changes since our last regular meeting, and we ask that it be voted affirmative for these changes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. Frank, supported by Mrs. Burton, for the second reading, Board Policy IDBB, Substance Abuse Education. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Frank.
Yes.
Mrs. Burton.
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Bradford.
Yes, and the motion carries. All right, so the next few items are all first readings, so they do not require a vote. They're the first reading. We'll be going ahead and hopefully sending them off to the second reading at the next meeting, regular meeting in November. So we're going to start with item 9E, first reading of bylaw of the board AA, district legal name. And tonight we are going to hear from Mrs. Oquist, I believe, right? Mrs. Oquist.
Mrs. Oquist and Mrs. Burton.
And
We are
Mrs.
going to
Burton,
tag
oh yeah,
team these.
Mrs. Burton too. She's
We are
awesome
making our
at
way
this.
through the section A of our bylaws of the board. So we are going to deal with about the first third this evening. We'll start with AA. We're changing the subtitle of this bylaw. Instead of district legal status, it will now say district legal name. The policy remains generally intact with the addition of the words "as amended" after the reference to the revised school code. And I will note that we made that change everywhere we have referenced the revised school code. It will then read comma "as amended."
And would you like to read that into, or do we not need to?
Sure.
Okay.
The official name of the school district shall be Livonia Public Schools School District. The school district shall be organized and conducted as a general powers school district as presented in the revised school code as amended.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding this one bylaw, AA? Okay, if not, then we can go ahead and put that on for the second reading for, at the November regular meeting. Okay, and we are going to go on to item 9F. First reading of bylaw of the board ABB, board powers and duties.
Thank you so
Yep.
much, President Bradford.
Yep.
I will reference that we made some grammatical changes in the first and second paragraph, and this refers to primarily the board's important functions and duties. We added bullet 1, hiring and evaluating the superintendent. We revised number 2 into policy making. Number 3 is regarding strategic planning and goal setting. Number 4 is allocation and oversight of financial resources. Number 5 is personnel. Number 6 is school facilities, and we would like to make an adjustment to those that we have already made. You'll see that there are a number of updates that we've made, both at the study session and committee of the whole. And then a request was made for school facilities to have it read, "The board is responsible for determining school facility needs," and to add the phrase, comma, "in conjunction with the superintendent," for communicating these needs to the community, for purchasing, leasing, or selling sites, for approving building sites, and for approving building plans and renovations that will support and enhance the educational and extracurricular programs. We removed judicial and made number 7, communication with the public.
Ours doesn't say 6.
Oh.
Did we have what she had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep. Are there any questions and comments regarding this policy, ABB? We made a number of changes in it, but I think we got them down to the way we like them. Is there anybody that has any comments?
Thanks for your work.
Yeah, that was a lot of work, this one.
And
Okay.
everyone's in agreement with adding that phrase in 6?
In 6, I believe so, yes, school facilities. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so we will put that on the board for the second reading on the next regular board meeting.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Moving on to item 9G, the first reading of bylaw of the board ABCA, number of board members. And we're going to turn this over to Colleen because we're going to make some changes here.
I'm going to suggest that we take the next 4 items and roll them all into one cohesive policy. They all relate to board member qualifications and the method of their election. So rather than having them broken up onto 4 separate pieces, I'm going to suggest that we roll them all into one. Some of this combining have been suggested at the committee of the whole, and the rest of the combining is in a colored sheet in front of you. The combining that I'm suggesting that was not yet discussed at the committee of the whole is not making any changes to the document. It's just taking the paragraphs and literally cutting them, pasting them from their original places in the 4 separate bylaws and rolling them all into one. So with your indulgence, what I'd like to do is just read it through from top to bottom, and it will take care of the next 4 items in a row.
Yes, and do you want me to name those 4 items? Is that helpful right
Yep,
now?
go ahead.
And then you'll go ahead and we'll combine it?
Go ahead.
So item G is first reading of bylaw of the board ABCA, number of board members. 9H is the first reading bylaw of the board ABCB, board member qualifications and oath of office. The next one is 9I, first reading bylaw of the board ABCC, board member method of election. And the fourth is 9J, first reading, removal of bylaw of the board ABCD, board member method of election.
Right. And J, the removal of is because we had already discussed rolling that one into the prior.
Correct. So all these 4 would be combined into what we're going to discuss right now.
Right. I suggest that we just roll them all into ABCA.
Okay. And it would be
Title it-
named
title it
bylaw of the
bylaw,
board of the, bylaw of the board ABCA, and then what would its
District
title?
organization, comma, board member qualifications and method of election.
Okay,
And the 4 pieces all had some semblance of that title in them.
okay.
So when we combine all 4 together, it would read, "The Board of Education shall consist of 7 members, elected or appointed according to provisions contained in the revised school code as amended. An individual is eligible for election to the Board of Education if the individual is a citizen of the United States and is a qualified and registered elector, in parentheses, registered voter, 18 years of age or older, and residing in Livonia Public Schools, school district boundaries. Members of the Board of Education shall be elected biennially during even year general elections, the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, to serve for a term of 4 years on a rotating basis. The term shall commence on January 1st of the year immediately following the election and continue through December 31st of the 4th year. The school district shall conduct the election of Board of Education members as detailed above and in special elections as deemed necessary by the Board of Education in accordance with the provisions of law and by resolutions adopted by the board. Within 5 business days after an election, each member-elect shall be notified of the election. Within 10 business days after notification of the election or appointment to the board, each person shall file with the secretary to the board an acceptance of the office to which the person has been elected or appointed. Each person elected or appointed to the board shall take and subscribe to the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability. Buildings and facilities of the school district may be made available to the city of Livonia and to the city of Westland at such times as the cities conduct elections. School district election precincts may be revised as necessary based on the needs of the district or upon consideration of requests from the city of Livonia and based upon consideration of requests from the city of Livonia or the city of Westland. And then a note afterwards that says, all legal references for bylaws ABCA, ABCB, ABCC, and ABCD that we have confirmed are still applicable will be at the bottom of this new policy.
I have one question. When you read, you said school district election precincts. You meant school election precincts at the bottom there, that last sentence. The last paragraph.
All right, let me reread the last paragraph again.
Please. Yeah.
Buildings and facilities of the school district may be made available to the city of Livonia and to the city of Westland at such times as the cities conduct elections. School election precincts may be revised as necessary based on the needs of the district or upon consideration of requests from the city of Livonia or the city of Westland.
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
May I actually, now that you've just read
go
that
right ahead.
again? I would like to recommend that we remove the word school and just simply say election precincts
I
may be
agree with you.
revised.
Yep.
I like it.
And then just as a note, the couple of things that are in the green in the document in front of you had not been discussed at the committee of the whole, but when I combined these into one, I noticed that sometimes it's referred to as Board of Education and sometimes as School Board. So I'm just suggesting that we keep it consistent with Board of Education across the board. So there are there are 2 times in there that School Board has been changed to Board of Education. In the paragraph that is largely red, or pink, I'm suggesting that we put the word "in" before special elections, so that it reads, "The school district shall conduct the election of Board of Education members as detailed above and in special elections as deemed necessary."
Okay.
So it flows a little bit better. The last suggestion change that I'm making, that I'm suggesting to the board is in the paragraph under where it says acceptance of office that's struck, that has been, has a strike through on it. Rather than secretary of the board with secretary capitalized, which would in our situation mean Mrs. Acosta, which is not the case as it's intended. It is the secretary or the administrative assistant to the board. So I am suggesting that we uncapitalize that and change the word "of" to "to." So instead of secretary capitalized of the board, which would be Mrs. Acosta, it says secretary to the board, which would mean Mrs. Gunta, as is correct.
Okay.
And that, if we like this, we can go forward with it and have that be one policy instead of 4, or one bylaw instead of 4. And if anyone has any suggested changes, let us know. Mrs. Jarvis. I'm sorry.
Jarvis. Go ahead. Nope, you got it.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Firstly, I want to commend you for coming up with this. I'm all in favor of anything to consolidate our policies. We have quite a thick binder. And there was a lot of repetition and overlap, so this is a very sensible thing to do.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be me if it weren't grammatical suggestions.
Go ahead.
So the first one is in the paragraph that's above the one that's predominantly red, where it says members of the Board of Education shall be elected biennial during even year general elections. Please hyphenate even year. And also let's utilize some commas to break up some very long sentences. In the same paragraph, after where it says, after the first Monday in November, parentheses, close paren, put a comma there.
Where?
Right after that close paren, after the word November.
Okay.
And in the following sentence where we
Between
say.
November and to serve?
Yes, November, paren, comma, to serve.
Okay.
In the line below that where we say January 1 of the year immediately following the election, comma, and continue through December 31st. In the paragraph below, directly below that, the school district shall conduct the election of Board of Education members as detailed above, comma, and in special elections as deemed necessary by the Board of Education in accordance with the provision of law, comma, and by resolutions adopted by the board.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to run with it from here?
Yeah, does anybody have any others? I think it's great that we're putting them all, combining them all. It makes sense to me also, so. That will be, those 4 will be put into one bylaw, and it will be bylaw of the board ABCA, correct? Okay. ABCA. And that will be.
And then its subtitle is District Organization, comma, Board Member Qualifications and Method of Election.
Okay, perfect. And that will be put on for the second reading for the next regular board meeting in November. Okay? Thank you for all your hard work on that, Mrs. Burton.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate. And Mrs. Oquist too, but. All right, we're gonna go on to item 9K. First reading, bylaw of the board AC, school grade configuration. And let's see who's getting this one. Mrs.
I can cover
Oquist?
this one, thank you.
All right.
So we are changing the subtitle of this to school grade configuration. It will now read, the school grade configuration is organized as follows. Pre-K, lower elementary schools, grades kindergarten through 4, upper elementary schools, grades 5 and 6, middle schools, grades 7 and 8, senior high schools, grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then post-secondary. The district reserves the right to have different grade configurations for magnet schools. No other changes since our last review.
Yeah, that looks great. Okay, I'm gonna go back, if that one's all right, we're gonna put that on for second reading at the next regular board meeting in November. That item 9J, we still need to vote on that removal, correct? So
We'll put the removal of ABCB, ABCC, and ABCD on one motion.
Okay, so
if-
all 3
now that we're in
must be
agreement with that,
removed first.
Those 3 have to be
Okay.
removed
Okay,
in order
good.
to create the new ABCA.
Perfect, okay, so those 3, that will be in a motion also, that those 3 will be removed. Does that go first, and then we go into the other one?
Yep.
Okay, okay, perfect. All right, any other questions? Let's go to 9L, hearing from board members. Hearing from board members is a time set aside if anybody would like to make any comments or this evening. Anybody have anything? Oh, I think I'm gonna talk for another 20 minutes, I think. Just kidding.
You talk.
I could talk for another 20 minutes, but I won't. I'll spare everybody that because there is something important going on this evening. And can we please have an update?
14 to 3.
Thank you very much, 14 to 3, and that's halftime. Folks, we thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope we're going to adjourn. We hope you have a nice evening, and we'll see you at our next committee of the whole meeting, I hope. Everybody have a great night, and go Lions! Good night.